Hey, vinyl community, it's Trevor from Flat Round and Spun here to do another video. It's Saturday night. Uh, Wife's out in the living room with her headphones on, watching something. I'm in the newly in the process renovated record room, music room, entertainment room, man cave, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Saturday night, gonna have a drink. We got some ice. We have some uh, Kings Creek Black Label Tennessee whiskey cider. Um, it's actually pretty good. Uh, on these fall nights, that's a little bit too much, but it's Saturday. So, cheers, folks. Tasty. Yes, it's not like my buddy Lemmy doing the Jack and Coke. I can't do Jack and Coke because I'm a pussy. Um, anyway, yeah, it's been a minute since I've done a video. Um, uh, Fact is, I'm uninspired. And I don't feel I need to just put out a video just to put out a video. Um, I can't, in my mind, put out content for the sake of content. Um, so that's just me. I mean, if people want to put out daily stuff, then, you know, whatever. But anyway, let's get back down to it. I'm going to get off my soapbox. So I got tagged by a channel to do a thread. I had met this guy, uh, on a live stream on Chris Mann's channel when he does his Sunday live stream. And the channel is The Vinyl Narrative, starring Cam, out of Leeds, I believe. Great guy. So I was rather surprised when I got tagged into this thread, and the thread is 5 albums that you will never sell. So uh, some of these range in sentimental value, pretty much all sentimental value. Some of them not that expensive. Some are just, you know, valuable to me, like I said before, sentimental. Anyway, I'm going to go right off the bat and say I am cheating. It is one title, but it contains 3 separate albums in it. And it's basically the first band I really got into, and I'm sure this is going to be no shock to anyone. And the band is Kiss. The title is The Originals. Uh, this came out in 1976, I believe, early 76, maybe end of 75, after the popularity of Alive, which is just now having its 50th anniversary. Uh, so the marketing team with Kiss decided to, hey, let's put out an Insta collection and cash in. So this contains the first 3 albums that they did that weren't really selling that well. It wasn't until Alive came out that they started getting some sales. So um, that's the back of the album. So yeah, it has the debut, Hotter Than Hell, and Dress to Kill. Also, Dress to Kill having its 50th anniversary right now. Um, yeah, it's a great collection. I got this at a Kiss Expo many years ago. Do they even have Kiss Expos anymore? I don't know. At least they don't have any here in Seattle. So, yeah, great collection. Um, and yeah, it's basically the stepping stone, the first stepping stone of my rock and roll obsession. Um, None of these are in order, uh, but this one, and I've told this story many times. This is the first record I ever bought with my own money. I was 8 years old. At the time, I had a $2 allowance every week. So I had to save up for about a month to get this. Um, Family was at a drugstore in the Michigan area called Perry Drugs. Like back in the day, they had like a small record section, and I got this was new at the time, so this was late '78, early '79, and it's From the Inside by Alice Cooper. Um, I still love this album. Again, the sentimentalness of it all. If I didn't get into Alice Cooper and got into him later, I don't know how much I'd like this one. Uh, this was produced by David Foster, who I had no idea who that was at the time. But David Foster is the guy who pretty much neutered Chicago, the band, not the city. That'd be hard to do. But in fact, on the title track, you could hear some elements that would later go into some of those big Chicago hits of the mid '80s. So, yeah, it's got some great songs. This was after Alice's stint in. He was trying to rehab, which rehabs weren't really a thing in the late '70s. So it was at a mental institution, and it's the songs are based off of people that he met there. And yeah, about 20 years later, uh, when I was working at Harmony House, he did an in store for his box set, The Life and Crimes of Alice Cooper. I had him sign it for me. So, first record I ever bought, Alice Cooper. It ain't going anywhere. Maybe I will go in order here. Okay, so again, another story I've told many times. My first concert of my choice, not being dragged to by my parents, was the Jay Giles Band. This was on the Freeze Frame tour. Um, like at the time, I believe bands were real regional in their popularity. Jay Giles Band from Boston, but their second home was Detroit. They could come in for an entire week and sell out every night, and this time was no different. They played at my hometown venue, amphitheater, Pine Knob Music Theater, one of my all-time favorite places. Did a week, cool, and I got to see one of the 5, 6 shows they did. And a couple months later, they released this live album, Showtime. Now, many of you crate diggers probably see this all the time. It's like a $3 to $5 record. It didn't really sell well at the time. It's a single album, which it would be cool if they had the recordings of the rest of the show, um, and put out a deluxe version. But I highly doubt that will ever happen because, in the general sense, the Jay Giles Band, all us old timers and people older than me, Steve, like Jay Giles Band. But this was actually recorded at Pine Knob Music Theater. I was at one of the shows where this was recorded, and yeah, this is probably the greatest souvenir from my first concert ever. So, Jay Giles Band, Showtime, 1982, awesomeness. Fast forward 3 years to be exact. I'm getting more into metal. I was into metal at the time. And there was a radio show on WREF called Monday Night Metal. I think it was on at like 9 o'clock or 11. I was in bed at the time because, I had to go to school. Excuse me, I got to take a sip here. Thank you. So they would play, tracks that they normally wouldn't play during the day. And this was also back in the day when radio stations would support local acts. And I always heard these guys advertised on the radio, uh, playing clubs and whatnot. And they would always play. One of the places they would play is a place called Harpo's, which is huge for a club. I mean, I think it holds like 2,000 people. It's gargantuan for a club. And at one point, they were so popular they could play there 2 nights in a row, sold out each night. So, anyway, the band is Halloween, which appropriately we just got done with October. Um, as it says, Detroit's heavy metal horror show. The album is Don't Meddle with Evil. This is the very first local band album I ever bought. Bought this in 1985 when it came out. I'm 15 years old at the time. And yeah, still have the copy. Um, I played it a bit when it came out. It's even on their own label, their Motor City Metal, and it's a great record, but thankfully I didn't play it a ton because you know at the time I wasn't the greatest caretaker of my records, but this one held up very well in the now 40 years since I've had it. So yeah, Halloween, Don't Meddle with Evil. Also, on a side note, if you go on Peacock, I don't know if it's still on there, a show called Hysteria, and it's about these kids from Detroit. They got a metal band, and I was freaking out in the first episode because they played the title track from this album on there. I mean, I'm sure 99% of the people that watch that show had no idea what they were listening to. Me, I am like screaming like a little girl. I thought that was so cool. So, Halloween. And last, some friends of mine that joined up this legendary hardcore punk band from Michigan. Um, and they would play Seattle, and I'd go hang out with them. And, I would get into the mode of when my friends play, I help move equipment, load up the van, whatnot. Sometimes help them at the merch booth. And I would do this when the band is the Meat Men, when they would come into town, help them out. Um, and, you know, I didn't get to see them in Seattle. I drove down to Portland to see them when this album came out. Actually, the album's called Savage Sagas from the Meat Men. Uh, Actually, my buddy John here, known him for about, I don't know, 30 years or so. But yeah, I would always go see him when they're in town because I was when I'd see my friends from back home, out on tour. So I actually bought this on CD first. Saw him down in Portland, bought the CD. I was able to play it about 3 times on the way home. Um, Actually, I was so tired that I missed the exit to get back to my place. So that was fun. So, like always, when it's albums from friends of mine, I like to see who gets involved. I know a friend of mine actually produced this album and engineered it. So I wanted to, read the liner notes to see who, the usual suspects of, people I know on here. And I'm reading through the liner notes, and to my surprise, this is where it gets completely narcissistic. I get mentioned in the thank yous. So I'm guessing it was because I helped them out, you know, uh, with their gear and, working the merchant table one time when they were playing. So, yeah, so when I finally got on vinyl, it's very cool to have your name mentioned, on an album. And this is the only vinyl that I have with my name on it. Excuse me. So, yes, completely narcissistic, but, it's very cool. So, Savage Sagas from the Meat Men. Great album, politically incorrect all over the place. So, Cam, thank you, sir, for including me on this thread. I will put a link to that video in the description. So, yeah, just kind of enjoying the evening. Tomorrow being Sunday, I'm going to my very first Seattle Seahawks football game. Been a fan for many years and just never got a chance to go. And now we're going tomorrow, doing the whole tailgating thing, and maybe I'll shoot a little something for that. But anyhow, final community, cheers. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you all later. See ya.